Hi Haley, so here's your request for number 10. Right, so a quadratic formula, so I've got it up on the screen here already. So using this formula, you have to find out the a, b, and c values. So a is always with the variable that's squared, whether it's a squared, p squared, whatever. B is going to be the number in front of the regular variable, so that's your -4 is your b. And the c value is the last one with no variable, so -10. So really remember, there's actually a 1 here. So let me see if I can write this up here. So a is actually going to be equal to 1. Right, there's your 1 value. The b in this problem is going to be equal to -4. It's more tedious just to write. And then your c value is going to be equal to that -10. All right, so that's what we're actually going to plug into this formula over here, and we'll simplify it. All right, so as I plug it in, so x equals -b, right? So -b is the opposite of this, so +4. You keep your plus or minus in here. And then we'll put through the whole radical. So this is called our discriminant. So we're going to look at that, really simplify that first. But let's plug everything in. So b squared is -4 squared. Right, so -4. It's always good to use parentheses. Right, so minus your 4ac. And the 4 always stays. The a is 1. So I'll put 1 in here. And it's good to have parentheses. 4 times 1 times my c value, which is going to be -10. All right, so that's all inside that radical. I'll actually extend my radical so it covers that. And this is all over 2a. And 2a is 2 times that 1, which I'll put in here, which of course is 2, but I'll just do that in the next step. All right, so that's that part. So from here, we're going to simplify. And I'll do two things. I'll simplify what's inside this radical first, because there's nothing really outside here. And I'll do the bottom, because that's easy. All right, so here's the 4 in front. I'll do your plus and minus. And I'll show you how I do the radical in here. So -4 squared, negative cancels out, so that's going to be a 16. Right, so minus times a positive times another minus is a positive. A lot of students make mistakes here. So I'll put that as a plus. And then you can just do 4 times 1 times 10, which is 40. Right, so that's kind of nice. So that's good there. You can also do -4 times 1 times -10 in your calculator. Your answer will be +40. Just don't forget to put the plus in there. And that's all going to be over my 2. Right, because 2 times 1 is 2. Now if we keep going and simplify what's inside this radical, right, so we're going to get your 4 plus or minus. Now this is going to be radical 56, right, because we got 16 plus 40. So do radical 56. And that's all over 2. Okay, so we get to that part. Let me move my screen down a little bit here. So then as we go, so now this is good, this is good. This, you can get a decimal for this, but we've learned, remember all those trees? So radical 56, I'll put it on the side here. Reducing with those trees, if I do 56 is, let's see, that's 2 times 28, which goes in here, which is 2 times 14. Lots of 2's in here. And which again is 2 and 7. And you'll see this is the end of our tree because 7 doesn't break down, 2 doesn't break down. You don't use these numbers, right? So those are gone, this is gone. But I do see a pair of 2's here. There's a pair of 2's, and these ones are both my leftovers. Put these in little boxes. So you take one of the pair, so that's 2, right? That goes in front of the radical. And whatever's left over goes inside. So 2 and 7 is left over, you multiply those, so it's a 14 inside. And if you really had more than one pair, you would multiply those together on the outside. More than one left over, you multiply on the inside. So radical 56 really turns into 2 radical 14. All right, so let me put that back in. So 4 plus or minus Now it's going to be 2 radical 14. And don't forget, it is really over that 2 in the bottom. Don't forget, this 2 keeps coming along for the ride in all these steps. So there's my 2. And really, I've got one more step to go. So the last thing you look at is look at these 3 numbers. Ignore the radical. The radical is already done, it's reduced. But the 4, the 2, and the 2. Think about, is there some number that divides into all of those? And yes, it's 2. So if they're all divisible by 2, you divide all 3 pieces by 2. All right, so dividing that 4 by 2, we get a 2 in front. That's a bad 2. And the 2 over here, this 2 in front divided by 2 is going to be a 1. Right, radical 14 does not get touched. That's a different number, it just stays by itself. And the 2 on the bottom is divided by 1. So here, I'll put it in here, but we really don't even need that one. So just to clean this all up, lastly, you're going to get 2 on top, plus or minus radical 14, because we really don't even need that 1 up top, right? Because 1 times radical 14 is just radical 14. And the 1 on the bottom goes away. So your answer is 2 plus or minus radical 14. And if I go back up to my original problem, 2 plus or minus radical 14 is right here. Right? They just split it up, so that's the same thing. So C is your answer. And just remember, as you're going through these other ones, if you were to get one of these no solutions, the nice way to tell is what's inside your radical becomes a negative number. Right? Just to show you, if this was a negative 56, automatically that would be that no solution option. But since it's a positive, we can do the tree and go forward and reduce that. Right? So I hope this helps a lot. Let me know if you have any questions.